what's going wrong with society basically is that we've broken the contract to the deltas, which are the backbone of the economy, which, you know, you get a wife, you get married, you have most people, like if I had to deal with the devil right here, right? Bring it out, right? And if most guys, I would literally say like 85% of guys would sign that, like, hey, sign on this contract, you're gonna have a wife that loves you and you're gonna have some kids that love you. You ain't gonna get too much side pussy anymore, but you sign on the dotted line, you're gonna have a nice family. Most men at most age groups would
sign
right there, boom. And then but you'd have to go to work to support your family. Okay, that's fine. Most that is like the blue, like the whole blue pill thing, though. The old order and stuff. It was like, you know, get a family. Even though we kind of make fun of it now, we make fun of it because you get taken advantage if you're in it, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't get taken advantage while you're in it, a lot of guys would probably be like, you know, I'd like, you know, it's fine. You know, I have my wife, I have my kids love me. I'm having a great life.
Yeah. Real quick, I just, because I'm gonna forget this point when it comes up, I want to set the stage. When we get into it, when we get to the part where we have the whole panel, in respect to frame, you have like Rolo's frame is the frame that that betas hate. It's the shoulders back. It's the attitude and the presence that I'm here for a serious talk. I'm not here to take shit.
Yep.
And then round the panel, you've got the very like sheepish looking guy.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of like this whimpering smile, like it's
well, like because like you're talking about like the first guy that they show. Basically, he's just kind of like, I don't know, right? And
very
like,
timid.
Yeah, no frame.
Yeah, he doesn't even have like he has like an opinion, but not like a strong opinion.
Yeah,
right? And then like the guy towards the end, I didn't pay attention to what you're talking about there, but it'd be interesting to pay attention to the guy who said he was the one who got Tate canceled towards the end. It'd be kind of interesting to kind of see because I forgot what he was doing during.
Was he a YouTube exec? That guy?
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
got him canceled. He's part of YouTube.
Probably
there's a YouTube exec on the panel, but it's also just like the way they talk about body language is very blue pill because it's like, and I'll make this quick, but something as simple as like the importance of body language, whether it's in like they'll talk about the fierceness of the way it needs to be in business discussion, but saying something like public speaking, everything is like open hands symbolizes open-mindedness, and lax shoulders body language symbolizes that you want to make them as comfortable as you. So that's why that Tate, that Rolo, that Donovan, that everything that is like protrudingly alpha frame, that's like it throws off the people on the reverse end of the spectrum of that body language.
I think the sheepish body language. The reason why it does, especially I notice what they're talking about here, because they feel like they're getting attacked, they start attacking them harder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
blood in the water.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like subconsciously probably the beta people or the Dr. Phil basically probably sees that in Rolo is like, oh, you came here for a fight. Okay. Now I like they basically are get into attack mode, right? Because you can just tell. But the one thing I will say about this is that Dr. Phil at least is listening to another side, right?
Yeah.
So he does actually kind of be like, okay, objectively, what are you saying? What are you saying? Obviously, he has an opinion. Right.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't hide his
But
opinion.
he played it better than Pierce.
Yes.
Pierce is a whole nother animal.
He's not just like purely just going straight.
But Pierce has been taking L's for years. That Andrew Tate interview he did kind of brought him back to life.
Yeah, it did.
And then he kind of was like, oh shit, I better like stay on this lane I'm on right now. And then it's actually made him better now. More people are watching him right now because of that Andrew Tate interview. Like sparked him.
When you hear most of what Pierce has to say, he's not like a starch liberal, but he is a media bitch.
Yeah. He just shoves his opinion down your throat.
Yeah.
Right. Now, yeah, man. So I mean, it's kind of funny to see Andrew. I mean, not Andrew Tate, but to see Rolo in the background there. It's kind of funny. But let's continue on and stuff like that. But I will say one thing about just before I push play on this. Dr. Phil. If you guys haven't listened to it, Dr. Phil did actually have a decent interview on Joe Rogan's podcast. It wasn't a really bad interview.
That made me like him.
Yeah, maybe kind of turn around. So he's not all bad and stuff. The only thing I would probably say is I wish he went more for a 50-50, half women, half male audience, because they pick and choose people off the street and stuff for these shows. So that would, I think, if he did that, I think that would really boost his, because you would have the audience kind of arguing with itself, and that's views right there. But
Phil's good in my book.
Yeah,
he's somewhat reasonable, somewhat.
Really? I never heard of him. Now, one mother, Darcy, tweeted, I didn't know who Andrew Tate was, but my 12-year-old son did. So parents, they're coming for your boys. They market misogyny and racism. And when I say there's a broad range of people out there.
Damn. That's
Yo.
so this is like right off the bat combative towards the red
Mhm,
pill,
right.
right? And it's just like it's just saying like you guys are everything that we hate, and we're not even gonna listen to what your message is. Like it's just like straight up like just fighting.
They're creating their own narrative that they want to push out.
exactly.
And that's a crazy thing too, because there is this whole thing that a lot of women, now I've heard this even on very liberal like talk shows, that once a woman has a son, she kind of softens towards the men's plight a little
Mhm.
bit, because because a child is half hers, half the husband, right? But because it is half hers, she starts going like, yeah, why are they treating my boy bad? And that is crazy to me, for like a dark, if that's even real, could be total. Like this is just internet stuff. It isn't like verified like the Darcy, this is my son, right?
Mhm.
But it's kind of crazy to me that a mother would be like, this is insane, like she's alarmed by this and stuff like that, because it's like, I don't know, it just seems
Well, and the thing that's the strangest about the racism part of it, right? Because they're
Yeah.
just throwing that in there to get people pissed.
Mhm.
It's like, do they know that Tate's father is black?
They don't know anything.
Right? They don't know that, right?
No.
And then also, do they know that like in the red pill, we got Rolo, we got Donovan, we
Mhm.
got
the biggest people are black.
The
and
melting pot.
It's a melting pot. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are they
All-
talking
all-
about? They're basically trying to base, and I think that's why they probably bought the kid in.
Yeah.
Is because they just like, what's a standard white guy that we could put here that basically we're gonna call him like a neo-Nazi or something because he's into the red pill. Like that's what they want, right? They want that type of image for most people in this space.
Easy to vilify.
Right.
I really don't think I can't think of a single time they ever talked about race other than on Fresh and Fit where they go BBC gang, we up.
Yeah.
Like,
If somebody ever
Yeah.
actually said some racist shit in the red pill space, people would be like, "Whoa, hey."
yeah.
Eh,
Worst case, mahogany.
Mahogany.
But I haven't heard racism ever.
Have you
No,
guys
neither.
thought about the irony that we had an ex-producer from Dr. Phil here yesterday? Now we're doing this.
Right,
Now,
forgot about
listen.
that.
Now listen. The boys and I have one foot in the movie industry, so we got to deal with movie industry liberals at times. But he's a nice guy, but he's good at his job. But like based off his demeanor, what would you say about like the producing end of Dr. Phil? I mean, he gets to be himself, but in terms of how this shit has to be framed,
Well,
and it's ordered down from top to bottom, how
Yeah.
Phil has the free range to kind of speak how he wants to, but in terms of like how this needs to be framed, because it's mainstream television, you can't really lean too much in favor. You can only do what you see Phil do here, which is like, fuck it, let's hear what y'all got to say.
Dude, everyone's so petrified of cancel culture that anytime you touch anything that has some sort of cancel like smell to it, they get worried. So they got to stay politically correct.
Phil's not. He does what he can,
No,
but
the
but
show
again,
will craft that around him.
but yes, there's a team that puts that show together. He is the star of a show,
Yeah.
and he has a degree of influence, but it's not like what we're doing here, where Phil just gets to sit down and be like, "This is me." Like it's
Yeah.